Hello everybody and welcome to a new video, and for today's video we're gonna be joined by my special co-host Natsu, the pop figure. Yeah, Natsu, drag deal over here. I'm gonna put it right over in my speaker. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about cliches in anime, because currently in cliches it's truly hard to come up with new concepts, new tropes to explore in the fictional realm, not just in anime, of course. But some of them can be really annoying, but some can really be inspirational for the rest of us weebs. With that being said, I'm going to be discussing in this video Kenichi Shirahama's Kenichi from the Mightiest Disciple, which my all-time favorite underrated underdog protagonist, because I'm going to be discussing underdog protagonist and power of friendship. And for that, my favorite trope for that is Asta. Probably Asta. I'm gonna be comparing him with Deku, and Kenichi Shirahama, just because I want to talk about Kenichi because I love Kenichi. And for power of friendship, I'm gonna be comparing One Piece and Fairy Tales, and how One Piece power of friendship is more implemented to improve Luffy's character, rather than in Fairy Tail it's just an annoyance basically. So without further ado, let's begin with Kenichi, shall we? Oh, by the way, you guys, before I start the video, if you guys want like a blog post, because I will post this video on, or the script for this video on my blog page, which my blog page will be linked on the description below. If you guys don't mind, you can, if you don't want to listen to my voice, or instead you want to read it, visit my blog page, which is linked in the description below. Without further ado, let's get it started, shall we? The story of history's mightiest disciple is basically Kenichi. At the beginning of the series is being bullied. Yeah, all he wants is to get himself out of that pathetic state. And even his master throughout the series said that he's actually no good at martial arts. He doesn't have any talent, but with hard work, with determination, he was able to become one of the strongest fighters, most badass characters in his series, which really inspired me that way, because right now I am trying to work out a bit. So Kenichi Shirahama is definitely one of my all-time favorite, just because I kind of have a little bit connection. I do want to better myself as well as be physically fit. I also want to like him. Although I don't have a Miyu for Ranger though. His determination is basically just to better himself, to be good enough for Miyu, which is, man, the manga. I feel a little bit prouder for my boy Kenichi there, because Kenichi got a Miyu at the end there. So with that being said, let's proceed into the next part. Actually, I'm gonna be discussing Black Clover and My Hero Academia, because I'm gonna be explaining what the story is and comparing how different My Hero Academia's translation of the trope of underdog protagonist from Black Clover and Kenichi, how I like Kenichi and Black Clover more than My Hero Academia or Deku. Basically, I like Asta and Kenichi more. So Black Clover is a story about a world where magic is very prevalent towards a lot of people. Animals have it, the peasants have it, the commoners, the nobles have the most powerful one. There are elves, devils, but the main character starts off without any magic power, and his goal is to eventually become the king, the Wizard King. Yeah, Wizard King, Pirate King, Hokage, yeah, kind of those things, right? very stereotypical, but he's the underdog protagonist that I love because, like, in the world of Black Clover, like at the age at the I think it's at the right age of 15 or 10. I think it's at the right of 15. They get a grimoire, and his rival, yeah, Asta's rival, has the most powerful broken ice winged magic, and he's been chosen by four-leaf Clovers. Meanwhile, Asta, with no magic, his drive is just to become the Wizard King, to become even better or stronger than his rival, by just using his training, like physical training. He trained hard, the dude, uh, his workout basically is just strongman workout, and he did that for the rest, I think for all of his life, and he got ripped. Even if it was uncertain for him that he ever gets a grimoire or an ability, he trained so hard until becomes one of the strongest man in his world. Like even the strongest captains in Black Clover respect Asta's tenacity and strength, like his pure strength. And of course he gets all the girls, like he gets Noelle, he gets Mimosa, he gets Rebecca. Like, I I get all passionate about Black Clover. It should really catch up to that because I like stop at the in between the demons are. I really should continue that, but I really do love Asta for that. Like it was so uncertain, but he ended up one of the most powerful guys in his world, and not to mention his ability, unlike the nine-tailed fox from Naruto, it's not really that it's seemingly not that OP, but it gives him enough boost to compete with magic users, captain level magic users, and his rival as well. So I really love that. Even with, I feel like he's definitely gonna become the next Wizard King because he worked hard for it and he trained hard for it. He will surpass everyone. So let's go on to My Hero Academia. Deku from My Hero Academia is also an underdog protagonist, really popular character. So the star of My Hero Academia is everyone has quirk, just like in Black Clover, but our boy is quirkless and he wanted to be a hero. But, well, yeah, okay. Being a hero without a quirk and competing against people with quirks is kind of a little bit hard, so that's basically why he's an underdog protagonist. But one thing about Deku that I kind of don't like is he was just fanboying prior to him receiving All Might's quirk, basically. So with Asta, even though he doesn't have magic, he trained hard physically. I think, yeah, physically, not really quite mentally, but I guess Deku can assist with that because Deku has trained gathering intel, but otherwise that's just called fanboying, right? It's not really a train. He didn't really train prior to that. He just keeps on crying and crying. Even now in the series, he just keeps on crying, and that's why I kind of compare. If I compare it to Kenichi and Asta as a underdog protagonist, Deku really hasn't. Deku hasn't really. Yeah, sure, he struggled. He struggled a bit. He trained hard, but compared to what Asta went through, Asta didn't have any magic powers. It was uncertain that he ever will receive a grimoire, but he still trained. But prior to Deku receiving All Might's quirk, he never actually trained and just gathering nodes. Like, yeah, sure, intelligence is detrimental in being a hero, but strength is also the important facet to it as well. So, and not to mention, there's also a lot of people who is worthy of having the all for one or one for all. All for one, yeah, that's the enemy. That's the enemy. Not the one for all. Like Mirio, I personally like Mirio more than Deku, because I feel like he struggled more, he trained more, and overall he's a better character than Deku. And yeah, maybe memes in the internet do flow on my side, so maybe it has it also has a thing to do there. But overall, in terms of underdog protagonist, Deku isn't really much of an underdog the moment he received the the one for all perk from All Might, right? But sure, it's gonna be hard. He's still trained, but it's going to be hard without a quirk. But there are plenty of heroes in fiction that actually has that is actually a hero that has no power. I mean, take for example Batman. Batman doesn't have any superpowers; just have money. Yeah, and Hawkeye or Green Arrow, I think they don't have correct powers, right? Or strengths. They do have excellent marksmanship skills and parkour skills, but other than that, they don't really have any powers. But they still are heroes. Like, why not be be that? So even if he has powers, why didn't he train to have a stronger body, right? Oh, my music ended. Especially that when he received the quirk, the number one requirement to it was, of course, having a strong body. So why didn't he train at all? So that's just my issue with Deku, basically. So overall, in terms of characters as underdog protagonists, I prefer Asta and Kenichi more, and even Naruto is a much better underdog protagonist because he was ostracized by his village, and that he worked hard until he won over his village and became a world uniting leader, right? So compared to that, Deku really isn't a good underdog protagonist. So that being said, let's proceed into the power of friendship. The power of friendship is definitely one of the most overused uh, overused trope of anime, and can really be annoying where the main bad guy almost I like he's beating the main protagonist, and suddenly a magic burst of power as the main protagonist uh, burst forth out of the main protagonist as he remembered that he has friends. Yeah, that's basically Nazi, like flames of emotion, more like power of friendship, right? Like I do pride myself in like saying that I do love fairy tales. They have some of the greatest moments in fairy tale, but power scaling wise, it's kind of garbage. Like power of friendship gets in the way of the power scaling in fairy. I do love it. I made a manga reaction back when it was weekly coming out, back when it's still going on in serialization. I did like reacting to. I love fairy tale. I do pride myself one of the fairy tale fandom, but even I, as a fairy tale fan, have to admit that power of friendship kind of ruins fairy tale a bit. And I get it. The main theme of fairy tale is about friendship, and that's fine, Dandy. But at the end of the day, power scaling wise, it's hard for me to understand or comprehend how powerful Acnologia is, or Mardgear is, if all of a sudden, not to just power of friendship boost fist hit their butts, right? Like in comparison, in One Piece, the Oda always utilized power of friendship, but in One Piece is the closest. Is the thing that I will compare it, because Oda actually knows how to incorporate power of friendship, like through his backstories of the Straw Hats, through backstories of the antagonist. He can also incorporated in moments where Robin said, "I want to live," he incorporates that and take it take it a step further and have Luffy invent new moves. Like in Power Friendship in One Piece, it's basically Luffy inventing new moves, which excites me even more for future to come in Luffy's struggles to become the Pirate King. Like what techniques would he even develop more? Like in Annie's lobby arc, Zoro and invented the Ashura or the Nine Sword style. Sanji got the Diable Jambe, and Luffy got two techniques of his, which is Gear Second and Gear Third. So, in Fishman Island, in memory of his late brother Ace, he well, he wanted to protect his friends more. Thus, Power Friendship kicks in, and he has Red Hop now. He can literally ignite his fist, just like his brother Ace, and punch and burn his enemies. And not to mention, in the case for the Flamingos fight, it was shown that he was training the next level of his Devil Fruit, which is fourth gear, and I want more of that. I want more techniques from Luffy coming out from Power of Friendship or his determination to protect his comrades. So, for me, One Piece and Fairy Tail always gets compared, but One Piece is far superior than Fairy Tail. Like, as much as I love Fairy Tail, I do have to agree that One Piece is far superior than Fairy Tail. Like, there are moments in Fairy Tail that I really, really love, like funny things with Natsu and Lucy and freaking shippings, but it can't compare with the greatness of One Piece, right? How they utilize Power of Friendship really well and better than Fairy Tail. If there's something I want you guys to take away from this, cliche is not necessarily what makes a series bad. It's how the writers in input cliche or what's already in there into their story and how well they write it. Like Kenichi, Asta, freaking Fairy Tail, One Piece and One Piece and Deku as another protagonist. Kenichi, Asta compared to Deku, or One Piece and Fairy Tail in terms of Power of Friendship. It's basically based on how the writer implements them in the stories, all this cliche, and how well they write it into their stories. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this anime discussion because I have 3 more planned out I have 3 more planned out for the next 3 or 2 more anime discussions planned out for the next 2 to 3 weeks, basically. So I have the Roronoa one and the what is anime discussion. So stay tuned for that, and please don't forget to hit the subscribe button hit like, and please tell me, you guys, how do you guys feel about cliches and anime? With that being said, have a good day and stay awesome and keep watching anime, you guys.